Hello everybody, thanks for joining me. It's the 7th of January, and so not too late to wish you a Happy New Year. It's going to be an interesting year. I know some of us will be worried about it, and some of us have lost jobs, some of us have lost loved ones. But it's a new year and we need to look forward. I know it's going to be a difficult time with this lockdown version 3. It's going to be difficult for all of us. We are all in the same boat. We've all got to make the best of it. So what I'm going to try and do is do a few more videos. I know I don't do many, but I try to make the ones I do interesting. I hope you'll find today's interesting. For a while now, I've been thinking about putting together a compilation of the near misses that I've recorded on my safety camera, but never really had a reason to do it. However, I do now have a reason. Some of you may know already that on the Wednesday before New Year, I did a Century bike ride with Paul Green. We did take all safety precautions. You know, I took first aid kit, space blanket, and we were lit up well. But 2.5 miles from home in the well-lit town, I was actually knocked off my bike by a car driver. Fortunately, I wasn't badly injured. I had a lot of road rash on my side, which I'm being treated for. Also, I've got massive bruising on my arm, and I must admit to being a bit shaken up. It's the first time it's ever happened to me, and it was frightening. Ironically, where this, I call it accident, but where this incident happened was right on the route I made the safety video on. I was riding exactly as I did in the video. I was observed. The woman said she saw me. I was lit up like a Christmas tree. I had a fluorescent coat on, and I was riding in a position where she would see me. But she said there was a car moving in from the right. It was a one-way system. Car was moving in from the right. She had nowhere to go. She obviously didn't think about braking, but there, we all make mistakes. The one thing I'm sure of is that she's never going to do it again. She's going to be careful of cyclists, and hopefully she'll tell the people that she knows about it. What I would ask you to do, because it's all very well in the cycling community, we all understand that we need to give cyclists space. And we always laugh when we're out cycling because a car will give us lots of space and we'll say, oh yeah, cyclist. So what I would ask you to do is probably share these clips with friends that don't cycle but do drive, because the more we can educate people, the better. I drive as well, as many of you do, and we all know we can make mistakes, but I'm sure we're all very careful around cyclists. And that one mistake, that one little bit of misjudgment, maybe somebody's using their phone or they're distracted by the child or whatever, that could lead to a lifetime of misery for both the driver and the cyclist. Let's look at the first clip. Well, it's actually not a clip, it's a photo. The reason it's a photo is because I can't, for some reason, find the original video clip. It was taken on a Chinese copy GoPro that lasted about 3 months. So this is a still, but it shows you how close that car was. It was an elderly couple in this car, and they actually sat behind me for probably 5 or 6 seconds and suddenly overtook me very, very close, as you can see, when there was a car coming the other way. And if you look in just above their wing mirror, you can see the car coming the other way. But oddly, there's nothing behind that car, so if they'd have waited another few seconds, they'd have been past it in the clear. This was the first time I'd used the Lincolnshire police reporting system. It went smoothly. They wrote to the driver giving him advice, which I was very happy with, because clearly it was just an error of judgment. But it was this situation that made me decide to buy a specific safety camera. Those of you that have seen my videos would have seen it here, sat on the right hand side of the handlebars. I did my normal research and decided on the Chilli Tech Bullet Cam, mainly because it was a robust, simple camera. You can see it here with its handlebar mount. On the back here you've got very simple controls. It's all sealed up in an aluminium case, and it gives me 4 hours of battery life, which is superb. Also, I bought a spare battery. I think it was only about £6, and that gives me 8 hours of battery life, so very impressed. You'll get an idea of the quality of the footage in the next clips. This particular clip is one I took on the A52. It's a slight incline coming out of Grantham, and you'll see here a bus overtook me very closely. It was quite scary. Here it is again in slow motion. You'll see that I haven't included the number plate on this one, and that's because I didn't report it to the police. I felt that as a professional driver, the police may take a dim view. I didn't want to affect his livelihood, so I decided to report to his manager. The manager reported back to me that the driver was horrified when they saw how close they'd actually come to me. Now here I'm going to point out a flaw in the Chilli Tech camera, and that is the date. Now you can either set the date or you can remove the date, but what happens when you change the battery mid-ride, it actually defaults back to this 2017 date. Now that's not an issue. The police don't worry about that at all because you're stating the date on your statement that it happened, but just be aware of it. If you want the date, then by all means buy an expensive camera, but this is fine for me. This is another photo of the same section of road. I didn't bother keeping the video because it was a Spanish driver and the police can't trace foreign drivers, which is worth knowing. Now in this clip I'm actually leading a guided ride, and there's a requirement that we ride at the back of the group and we stay in primary position to protect the group. Now you see the white Mercedes that went past quite fast. Here in slow motion you see how close he is. Now bear in mind I'm further out in the road than the rider in front of me, so he's clearly not keeping to the 1.5 meters that he should be. One thing worth mentioning here is camera positioning. The camera does come with a helmet mount, but I didn't find that terribly useful for me. It's too much movement. I like it on the right hand side of the handlebars, pointing slightly out into the traffic, and I found this gives me the best view of a number plate, and you'll see it comes out quite clearly even in bad weather. We're on the same stretch of road as the previous clip. We've got cross hatching in the middle to warn against overtaking, but this Mini decided to squeeze through with oncoming traffic. He just needed to be a bit more patient and there would have been some space, but had he been just a little bit closer to me, he would have had me off and he would be facing a dangerous driving charge. But he still got his letter from the police. The final clip I'll show you is actually not a close pass. It's a crash I had, and it was quite an odd crash, and the reason you might find quite surprising. By this point I'd ridden about 35 miles. It was a great day. It wasn't that cold. The road was just slightly damp. I had no reason to suspect any problems at all. And coming up to this bend, I'd normally go left, but I decided I'd take a right turn and extend the ride because I enjoyed it so much. I took it wide because there was no traffic coming and I didn't want an acute turn, but as you see, over I went. Now luckily, as you see, I got up. I was injured, but not badly injured. I scraped all the skin off my side, tore some clothing, but I was okay. The cause of this crash might just surprise you. It was this, the humble carrot. I really was confused by the cause of the off, but a friend who lives nearby explained that trailer loads of carrots are hauled around this junction. They fall off the trailer, they become crushed on the road, and it makes it very slippery. So it's the first time I've been knocked off by a vegetable. Well, I hope you found that interesting. As I said before, please share this with your non-cycling friends. The more we can make people aware of what can happen, the better for us. Has it put me off? Not really, no. There was absolutely nothing I could have done about it, and that's what does worry me slightly. The only other thing I could have done is not go out, which would be unthinkable. So I just don't know is the answer. All we can try and do is educate people. I don't think the cycling lobby helps us too much. We get these aggressive cyclists that seem to think that all cars should be taken off the road, and we get aggressive car drivers with the typical "you don't pay road tax" comments. But in between, the vast majority of drivers are good, and they're responsible, and they're sensible. When I'm out on the road, if I'm holding a car up on a very narrow road, I'll pull over, and I often get a wave of thank you. And to me, that's doing the right thing. It's working together. We're all road users, so we should work together. So until next time, be safe, and please like and subscribe.